welcome to London for this, the sixth leg of 8 in this incredible, electrifying, as good as it gets, FEI Driving World Cup season 22-23. We have had a full season so far, and the question on everybody's lips here with Boyd and Bram together, the clash of the titans. Who is going to take it? Boyd has been unassailable this year. There he is at the top of the rankings. Boyd ExCel for Australia on a full 30 points. IJsbrand Chardon, 24. In third place, remember these rankings take forward the best 6 drivers for the final in Bordeaux in February. Michael Braucher is 14 on 14 points. Michael Braucher, Koos de Ronde, he is here tonight as well for the Netherlands in 4th place with Dries de Greek, another one here in London on 12 points. Glenn Gears, 11. Bram, he's got 10 points there. He earned them in Geneva last weekend when he came out on top, but he was the one, he's the only one to have beaten Boyd in recent history. And they're all here.
It is our pleasure to welcome you to London for the FEI Driving World Cup.
And the start list. Daniel Naprusi, he is the wild card entry, representing the home nation of Great Britain. And his ranking at the moment, that pertains to all the other seasons that he's in 51, but that doesn't really matter for this Dan Naprusi. Next in, Benjamin Ayoud from France. He is coming in as one of our top 10 ranked outdoor drivers. Dries de Greek has really brought his aim game to the table. He drove very well in Geneva last weekend, and we run down. So the starting order is all about how they have done yesterday in competition 1. Our course designer, Jeroen Houteman from the Netherlands, and we have 10 cones, we have 2 of the marathon obstacles and including a bridge, and the course is about 800 meters long, and we have them going up and down here. The animation here just shows you how many turns they've got to make. Now they start off going down the arena, across. This is where they can gain some early time as long as they don't knock those balls off. Over the bridge, that's number 3, and suddenly they are going to have to bring the horses back, collect them up and go through. Number 4 is the first of the marathon style obstacles. Very interesting hearing Bram and Boyd talking respectively about their teams of 4 horses. One says they're better to the left, one says they're better to the right, so they will be trying to drive to their advantage. Out they go into the speed. What the course animation can't do is show you how incredibly tight those lines are in between the obstacles and the cones, the precision, the tightness, the speed, the reactions that are needed to get through. And don't forget, on top of all these gates and all these squares, this is where they have the balls, and if they knock the balls off, if they knock the gates, that's when they start adding on the penalties. And now we're on to the speed part of the course, still going for precision. And that oxa, the 2 pairs of obstacles there, the cones, that is the square, that's it, and finishing on number 12. So lots of squiggly lines. It's quite symmetrical. They're going up and down, a diagonal across, and those drivers and their teams and navigators have to remember what they're doing. So the marathon style obstacles on this course here in London on this 6th leg, we're asking more of them, slightly more turns, but we're still asking for the fitness and the suppleness and the athleticism. So number 4, number 8, but they can make errors at any point on the course. We've seen the horses coming into the bridge and talking to some of the judges just ahead of all this. If they don't get their lines completely right going into the bridge, if there's a swerve, if there's a chicane of the carriage, that's when it can just flip out and knock one of the cones. So what we're aiming for is the speed, is to just eat up the ground as much as you can with these 4 magnificent horses, all athletes absolutely at the top of their game. So Dan Naprusi going round there. He's got Frank Campbell on what we call top steps. So Frank is the one who is reminding Dan where to go. No one better qualified to do it. He himself is a driver, an international level driver, and on bottom steps, so the man that is the ballast, who's helping shift the balance of the vehicle, keeping that centre of gravity low, that is Oliver Bass. And the 4 horses that Daniel is driving, he has 2 warm bloods in his team and 2 Lipizzaners. Nilus, Dorlando Hero and February Nova. So the 2 leaders in front, left and right, and the wheel horses behind. That's where the power is. Dan is very well known to so many of you. He's been Darth Vader in his day job in Rogue One. He was the horse master for the Game of Thrones series. They have such a huge profile in the film world as well. So there will be a big home cheer as Dan Bruce comes into the arena, the ExCel arena here in London. The wildcard entry, but very much a favourite. He's actually helping the organising committee here run the driving as well. Got a huge vested interest in what he's doing. So the drivers have been in this arena. This is the 3rd time. We had a prelim round. Unusual, we don't always have this. We had a prelim round on Thursday, and so the bell goes. Just like in jumping, they have a bit of a countdown. Last night we had competition 1 here in London, and then tonight, Saturday night, kicking off the evening's entertainment. And he's getting up some speed, and the clock starts running. And those horses falling into an incredible rhythm down through the diagonal. The music is pumping, and they are on the move. Very powerful horses over the bridge. Just hear that clatter, and 4 to add so far for Daniel. An early ball down. So now he has to pull the horses up a little bit, get them back onto their hops, and get them bouncing. Very much concentrating on driving his lead horses round. He, like all the drivers here, will know that one side of his team is faster and more responsive, so he might be going for more left turns or more right turns. But the horse is listening, eager, and he's picking up those loops, letting out with the reins as they complete the turn, just trying to keep it flowing. Every change of direction, that just slows things down a little bit. You want to keep the lines free. And he's out, so no more to add. That was out in about 68 for a split time. Just interesting to see how it compares to some of the others. Hoping to gain a little bit of time back over the bridge. The horses have done it several times now. And then into number 8, A in sequence. Look how keenly his horses are looking to make the turn, and they're looping round that gate to come back into C. So if you have a team that's really good at turning to the right, that's a great sequence of gates for you. And just Oliver working hard on the bottom step there. Frank telling him there's just another ball on the floor there now. I'm sure that will come up quite soon on the screen. And he's out. And this is one of the fastest passes of the course going round, but he mustn't knock any of those other balls. Yes, that second ball has just gone onto the screen. And look at these horses loving their job, racing, sprinting round. And through number 12, 158.94. So that's an early benchmark. Lovely smooth round from Dan, improved every day. He himself said, because he's not doing this week in, week out like a lot of the other competitors on the circuit, he said he was rusty, not his horses. So that gives him a total of 170.94. That's how easily those balls can pop off. But the concentration, Frank there, top step, just issuing instructions as he's also putting his weight into the bends. Such a lot of teamwork here. Look at those reins coming back from those front horses through what we call the Roger rings, the loops on the sides, the outside of the leader bridles, of the wheeler bridles rather. and running forward. You need fit horses for this. And just as Dan leaves the arena here in London, he will be delighted. He's had 3 good days. We welcome in for France, Benjamin Ayod. He is a brilliant horseman, be it behind a horse or on the back of the horse. And with this lovely team of Lusitanos, he's just brought them out this season, so it will be a season of learning, building up the confidence, all getting used to each other, but he's availed himself so well so far. These beautiful Portuguese horses, well matched, working well together. And so he's had that early diagonal across. That's where you're hoping to gain. And the horse is now 3rd day on the trot, absolutely confident going over the bridge where they might have had a bit of a look on the first day. And here they go, just coming back into this first obstacle, number 4, the marathon type obstacle. Twisty. And he made a good turn down there to D. He will be pleased, much more precise. Keep the momentum going, Benjamin. Don't forget gates A to F must be done in sequence, and then they can ping out. They've got this quite tight loop that they have to make round to number 5, still asking questions, and then put the foot down, ask these horses to spring forward and keep the momentum going, always forward. And you can see there already 11, nearly 12 seconds up on Dan. Still clear, so far nothing to add. Now Daniel came out of this second obstacle, number 8, at about 1:28, so just have a look at the clock. Benjamin already looking well up on the clock.
Back to D.
Look at the suppleness and turns of his lead horses, leaning into the turns, into the gates. Keen, and he is having to make those big loops, particularly in the leader reins, and ping them out. Off they go. And this final quarter of the course, where you can gain so many valuable seconds, mustn't knock over any of the balls. Even if you've already been through those pairs, you have to keep the balls on top. Through number 10, clear so far. The Oxer, number 11, that double set of cones just next to the bridge. Round the bottom, past the entrance. .163.10. So, although the time, perhaps a few seconds slower with nothing to add, really puts him into contention. Benjamin Ayod from France competed at the first event this series in October in Lyon, where he was the home nation's wildcard. There's a balance between the drivers coming to an event like this where they have a qualification place, which means that their final points do add into the rankings, or this weekend we have Daniel and we also have Boyd ExCel. They are the wildcard entries. Boyd invited, no doubt, because he has this tremendous association with the United Kingdom. It was his home for 25 years before he and his horses and the family moved over to Valkenswaard in Holland. And the groom saying it's all about Benjamin, and Benjamin saying it's all about his horses. But next in, the youngest driver on the circuit competing at this level, at World Cup level, it is Belgium's Dries de Grey. He was on the podium last week in Geneva, only his second season there, age 27. And because Marijke Harm, who does so well for Germany, she's about to have her first baby, so she isn't competing. So Dries got into that top 10 qualification spot, and he's got very fast horses. He drives a bold and brave round. He just missed out in Leipzig on a final drive-off place. Don't forget, we have have the fastest 3 drivers, the ones with the lowest collective scores. They're the ones that go into the drive-off. And with all the exuberance of youth, Dries drives these horses so positively. And they're listening. Voice commands, a combination of the voice, the aids down the reins. As we say in driving, what's in the brain goes down the rein. And you have to be so quick. And if you even misjudge the size of the loop you're taking, that won't give the command that you want to your lead horses. You have to be so precise, instinctive. But these horses bouncing and keen and turning back on himself to go through number 5, 6. And over the bridge for the second time, and there's no looking. Some of these horses did have quite a good look at it on Thursday afternoon for the first time into A. Now, for some of the drivers that were in the final 3 yesterday, these horses are starting to really get to know the course, and they might start anticipating the turns, and that's what you don't want. You want to always be able to drive them forward, just like Dries is here. Nothing to add so far, and he's at number 8 already. He is always so quick. Through F, and he pings out, and this team is one of the ones on the circuit that does have another gear. So streamlined, those horses. Oh, that was a line right off. Oh, just the one to add so far. Through 11, that Oxer. And coming down, but this is a very fast time. That gives us a bit of an idea of where we're going to be with some of the next drivers coming in. So, great round from Dries de Grieck. Will it be enough for him to be in another drive-off, like he was on Thursday afternoon, like he was in Geneva? You are guaranteed of a podium place, all being well, if you make the final 3, and that's when you do the 2 rounds. So just wonderful close-up showing the footfalls, the sequence, the lightning quick reactions of these drivers. And the hands crossing over between the left and the right. You have to use one hand to go and take the loop from the other, and then you release it from underneath the thumb. And it goes, and these horses, so well trained, love this job. Next in, for America, the man from Florida, one of driving's most decorated competitors, Chester Webber. Chester is driving this team of Likazanas, a different team from the horses he was driving outdoors this season. Like many of the drivers, they have to use different horses, or are able to use different horses for the outdoor 3-day eventing, and Chester is getting better with each round. He is off. So look at that spring and impulsion. The horses going forward into their bits and bridles, into their breast collars. That's where the power comes from. Up through the horse, you need them conditioned and fast and keen and positive. And the music really lifts them, the whole atmosphere, and when the crowd get behind the horses. Here they are, turning round. And Chester just leaning into those turns, releasing with the outside hand as they make these tight lines in sequence. You see already. And he's gone back through A. That's quite all right. Once you've been through the gate, you can go back through it again.
Now through E. This very smooth, very good.
And popping back out through B and looping back on himself. Just getting the whole turnout through number 6. And Chester's horse is going so positively over the bridge. That's number 7. Don't forget, we've got 12 different questions, combinations. And that is the skill. Asking for speed and asking for collection. Obedience, turning. Oh gosh, look how well those leaders are coming round. C. Those are those double loops between B and C and number 8.
Now back through D. Like a slinky.
And he'll come up through the middle to F.
That's it, through F. Now the charge begins.
And clear so far. This is Chester's best round of the series so far. He's got his game face on. Those teeth are gritty. Come on, Chester. Such a brilliant outdoor driver, been so successful for many years, used to having medals and podium places, and he would dearly love to make a drive off. How is his time go? Oh, and that's 4 to add. So just look at that clock. Number 11. So we've got the time and the running total. So 163.38. So adding on the 4 for the rolled cone, 167.38. So our current leader at the moment is Dries de Greek, the young Belgian. That puts Chester currently into 3rd place out of the 4. Now, next in, Bram, our reigning World Cup champion. He's really hoping that he can make it his 3rd win this season, but Boyd ExCel, as we will see in a moment, has every intention of making it his 10th win. And this story, this narrative, this excitement, this battle between these incredibly talented drivers, they live and breathe this 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You have Bram Chardon, 29 years old, from 3rd generation international carriage driver. His father, the great IJsbrand. His 3 sisters, Leanne, Jeanette and Edith, all international riders. Mum Pauline, training at home, part of the international travelling team. They live and breathe it. Bram Chardon.
Former world champion with Vance.
The current outdoor European 4-in-hand champion, on the gold medal winning team, the Dutch team in Protoni in Italy, only a few weeks ago. And here he is, the winner in Leipzig. He took the title. He is our current World Cup champion. This is only his 2nd competition. He is easing himself into this season, and early ball for Bram. But he is fast. He has every intention of being in the top 3. He said in Geneva he wants a top 3 finish here in London. He is so fast, his reactions are so quick. For the early part of his career, he was competing with a pony team, and ponies are so sharp. You as a driver have to have such lightning reactions. You have to be thinking ahead of them. They're very intelligent, the ponies. And so that was a perfect grounding for Bram to prepare himself for moving on to the horse wars. And he's out. So out in 61 for Bram. It is a fast time. Is it going to remain a fast enough time to guarantee him his drive-off place? He would hope so, and if anyone can do it, he can. Into number 8. This is the 3rd time these horses and this combination have been over this Jerome Hooterman course. They did it twice yesterday. they might start thinking, do we turn now? They start looking for gaps. That's what these brilliant horses do. They look for the gaps, and you hope to goodness you can get them through the right gaps. So that running total, on one side we have it, including the penalties. On the other side, it is the time. And he's out. Is he going to gain enough time that that 4 that he added on early on isn't going to matter? Round the arena, number 11, the Oxer. Look at this time. 1:46.72. 1:50.72. So that just nudges him in front. So he has just sealed himself a place in the drive-off, as we would expect. And there his sister on the back. This incredible family, this dynasty in driving. IJsbrand on some of the best form of his career, Bram's father. And as much as they like to win and they like to beat each other, this is very much a family pursuit for them. IJsbrand isn't here. They've been sharing some horses this season. They're hoping to come together at the same events later on. Now coming in, a man who was the World Cup champion 10 years ago, Koos de Ronde. Another supremely talented driver, has had so many podium places, a mainstay of the Dutch team, and somebody who can handle a team of horses at speed like no other. He is an absolute marathon specialist on the outdoor circuit, and he brings all that talent, all that experience to the World Cup indoor circuit. And he has shown some fantastic form so far here in London. He's another driver who came out early doors in the season. He wasn't in Geneva last week, but Koos is another one that London is a firm favourite on their circuit. His wife, Marie de Ronde, there as navigator, keeping him going in the right direction. They have to work so tightly together, and out he comes. And there is that U-turn through number 5, 6. They come on so quickly, some of these pairs of cones, over the bridge. Nothing to add so far, and already he's in the green, even faster. Already he's in number 8. It comes on so quickly, there's no time to even take a breath before more questions are asked. Just look at those hands, the dexterity, the loop taking, calling the horses' names, keeping them on point. Letting out with the outside hand. You see how he's extended the outside hand, and he's out. The music picks up. Come on, Koos, he's clear so far. He will want a drive-off place like no other. At the top end of arena, through 10. The Oxer, that double set of cones, number 11. He's clear. 1:50.01. An incredible round, bringing all his years of experience to those 2.5 minutes, and Marie is smiling. Relief from Martin on the bottom step. 150.01. So little in it. Fantastic round from Koos. Job done. He will be in the drive-off. And then in he comes. He has never been beaten here in London. He's a very hard man to beat. It can happen. Boyd ExCel doesn't always win, but it's a very, very rare day when he doesn't.
He is undoubtedly the Lewis Hamilton of carriage driving.
World ranked #1 for so long now. First won this World Cup back in Gothenburg a long time ago. Seems like a lifetime ago. 2008-2009 series. And he's off, and somehow he finds another gear. He himself says his horses are so positive, they're so fast and forward. All he has to do is steer them. Now, I think we know he does an awful lot more than that. The training to get them to this point. The belief that they have as a unit. The point at which he starts asking those horses to turn. How little momentum he loses. Just watch a masterclass.
The horses just respond to it. Look at that turn.
His line's so precise. Very rare to see him make a mistake. Might be the oddball occasionally. Did knock an element yesterday, but that doesn't happen very often. And he is fast. He is fast. He's got a new horse there on the right-hand lead. This is Jupiter. As Boyd said yesterday, he brings youth and exuberance to the team. The little horse there, look at the size of him in comparison to Badgenot on the other side. Boyd's absolute mainstay, as he said, one of the best competitive horses in the world across the disciplines. 19 years old now. Clear so far. The time will be fast.
He's away in 113 seconds.
So are you keeping a note of the split times at home? Look at those horses streamlining themselves. They don't even want their ears to give any wind resistance. That's their sprinting face on, oh my goodness, look at this time. Look at this time. Just one to add, but does it matter? He is so far ahead. 1:43. So 1:43 was the time. So bearing in mind, Koos went clear in 1:50, but Boyd is still ahead, even with that 4 to add. 1:47.9. So to confirm, the three drivers coming forward to the drive-off, Bram Chardon, our reigning World Cup champion. Koos de Ronde, 10 years ago, the crown was his. And the man who wants his 10th title more than anything, Boyd ExCel. Those are the three coming forward for the drive-off over Jerome Hitterman's course. About 800 metres in total. And maybe you've had a chance to count how many turns these horses are making. His mind will be going. He will be thinking about where he can shave off even more seconds. So that is the lineup. Boyd, unsurprisingly, in front, but very little in it. Koos went clear, and that time of 1:50.01. Bram, again, another one that had a ball 150. So those are the three. And then those rankings, the positions will stay the same. Dries will finish in 4th, Benjamin in 5th, Chester and Daniel Napruis, representing home nation here in London, and great to see him and his wonderful grey horses out. So the arena party just in, preparing for what will be a fabulous drive-off. So here in London, in this ExCel arena, this is the second time the London International Horse Show has been held here. It was moved last year because the hallowed halls of Olympia, where we've been for so long, was being refurbished, but all agree this is such a fantastic venue. Frank Campbell there, just having a sip of water, thinking deeply about something. He was on the back of Daniel's carriage. Koos will be thinking there about what he is going to do during his drive-off. But these drivers, certainly people like Bram, Koos and Boyd, they've been here so many times before. The psychology of operating like this under pressure with not one but 4 horses, the tiniest mistake can be so costly. Even taking a centimetre too much of the rein, that can lead to something being knocked, or you miss a line, or you miss a turn. And they so rarely do.
And down through the box. This is where they've got 2 gates left to go. This is where you're going to cheer them on.
And the crowd here in London absolutely loving the driving. Since they were first introduced to it at this level about 10 years ago, it has become such a firm favourite. The crowd is such an important part of raising the roof, of creating some atmosphere, and here everybody wearing their Christmas best, lots of jumpers and scarves. For so many people, it is a fixture in their calendar to come for Christmas. So there we have confirmation of the starting order for competition 2, the drive-off, and these are the points that will count. Brown will go first, Koos and Boyd. But don't forget, because Boyd is the wild card entry, he appears here essentially as a guest. So even if he wins, which we have every assurance that he will do, but things can change, his position will not count towards his ranking in the overall series. So there's every chance that Koos or Bram could add another 10 points to their current standing. Not all the competitors compete in all the legs, so there is a balance, and Bram comes in, acknowledges the crowd. His sister Leanne on the back there, keeping him right. They are such a tight team. The whole family, such skilled trainers, live and breathe horses at their home in South Holland. What is going through his mind? Keeping cool, focusing on his breath, keeping the heart rate down. And they are off! Bram Chardon, the reigning World Cup champion. What is going to happen here in London? He won in Geneva last week. Encouraging those horses to absolutely go for it. 4 to add already.
Here they go. 4 seconds to add.
What can he do here in obstacle number 4? Talking to his horses, Bram says himself, his left turn, not his strength, but this is all relative. He will try and introduce as many right turns as he can. That's his strength. He says that himself about this combination of horses. Good right turn, sharp.
And now we go.
And out.
58 there. 4 seconds to Shana.
Number 5. Number 6, halfway point of the course.
Tight turn.
Over the bridge for the second time, number 7. Counting down to that final challenge of number 12. Into 8 again. The length of these turnouts, the points of articulation, it defies gravity and logic, the bravery, the communication.
All tight.
And all these drivers have are those reins in their hands, their voice, and a huge amount of belief and talent. Out of number 8. Now it's the speed section of the course. The horses galloping. Oh, another one. 8 to add. Round the bottom corner past the entrance, number 12. Graham is through and finished a time of 1:42.05.
But with an 8 to add, it is 1:50.05.
Interestingly, the final score really not so different from his first round. The time shaved about 4 seconds off, but had 2 roll balls to add there. But he will be certainly pleased with that performance. Only his second season, his first time here in London. He's been numerous times with his father, Ijsbrand, acting as a groom and as part of the team, but this is the first time Bram has actually competed himself in London, and let's hope it is the first of many, many appearances for one of the most talented athletes we have in driving. Age 29, became a father for the first time this year. And now just circling in the middle of the arena. Got a shot there of Bram coming out, but Cousterand, he is just collecting up his horses here in London at the ExCel Arena. 46-year-old Cousterand, ranked 2 at the moment, and he is just accelerating down through the start. The clock has started to roll, has driven some of the best rounds of his World Cup career here in London on the 2022-23 series. We've got 2 more to go this year, just after Christmas in Mechlin, and then Leipzig before the final in Bordeaux. That's where these drivers want to be. 4 to add already for Koos. But he is fast, always forward, bid on a marathon outdoors, a mainstay of the Dutch team for many years. Children involved as well. Taking up the loop there, that tight turn, the good line on the inside. And he's out. Cousterand through 6. Pushing on these horses over the bridge. He's knocked another one. We've got 8. Just slightly down on Bram's time, but he is assured of a podium finish. We are in the drive-off on Saturday night here in London. Obstacle number 8, nearly done. C, going back through it backwards, and F, you can do that. Of course you can go through it backwards once you, what we say, broken the gate, and he pinged out of F. Koos de Ronde. 10 years ago, he was the World Cup champion. Can he do it again this season? Certainly will be getting plenty of points here in London to add to the ranking, and nearly through. Oh, and an expensive round balls-wise, 147.9. So Bram is assured of second place. Koos.
He threw everything at it.
Really went for it. Sometimes the gamble doesn't come off, but he is always competitive right to the very last second when they pass through the timing.
There was Dick Lane, and there was this man, Koos de Ronde, and he's never missed a London.
One of the staunchest supporters of the London leg of the series, Koos de Ronde, and a firm favourite here with the London crowd.
1:50.05 is the time to beat.
Look at those feet, the sequence.
Driving World Cup presented by Martin Collins by Eurofit. It is the world #1, the greatest
and
in the world, Boyd ExCel.
We welcome into the arena. We welcome into the arena here in London, Boyd ExCel. He says it feels like a homecoming. Always credits his horses, the people around him. Emma Olsen on the back there. Hugh Scott Barrett, bottom step. Great friend and loyal supporter, very much part of Boyd's international team. And he's off. He has a supersonic level with these horses. They are in his hand. The reins never droop with him. They never go loose. They are so attentive. Taking that big loop there, he's asked a big question. He will say his strength is his left-hand side, the left turn, not so much the right. But we're talking tiny fractions here. This is still absolute brilliance being rolled out before us.
Clear. Clear. Clear.
Clear so far, nothing to add for Boyd, and it's looking, as we would expect, very fast. A green split on the time always looks good, so he's up. He's up.
He's trying to land. Look at the lines on the surface. B.
The concentration. Emma talking to him, keeping him right. The trust between them all, the faith. They've done this so many times before, but it never stops mattering. And that is a big angle coming in so that you don't knock that other cone on the outside there. But he's looking so impressive. Look at the speed of these horses, the ground they cover. And one's gone. One has gone. So 4 to add. But, so that was number 10. Oxer is 11. But I think we can safely say that with the times and the performance, 143.89. A total of 147.89, and he retains his unbroken record here in London. Quite remarkable. We are seeing history right in front of us.
He's going to get onto his plate and say thank you to his fabulous wheelers.
Never before in the history of this sport have we had an individual athlete who is so unassailable, is so consistent, with so many horses. And the crowd behind our winner here in London tonight, Boyd ExCel. Guest entry, but what a privilege to have him here as part of the lineup.
We come now to the prize-giving ceremony of the FEI Driving World Cup, presented by Martin Collins, Enterprises by Eurofib International.
So show director Simon Brooks-Ward, his family, so synonymous with horse events of the very finest calibre. He and the team here also run the Royal Windsor Horse Show, and coming in third position, Cousterande. A familiar face here in London.
In second place, he picks up 10 marginal points
And
tonight.
Bram Chardon will be delighted with picking up those points. What a relief you can see on his face. His first appearance in London, and I'm sure he will be back again. You might notice, if you're eagle-eyed, that he's put a different horse in the lead there. One of his leaders does get a little bit wired by the prize giving. So he brought an extra horse with him. The athletes do travel with 5 horses rather here for this. And Boyd, every year, out come the antlers. That's brilliant. What good horses they are. They've just performed brilliantly, and now that's Jupiter with his inimitable smile, showing his teeth, and brilliant. Another fantastic performance. Boyd ExCel, what will it do for him to be toppled? He has been on boiling point all season, from his first appearance in Lyon, where he was also a wild card,
Ladies and gentlemen, may we now
to
ask you to please stand for the national anthem.
here in London.
The winner of the FEI Driving World Cup, presented
Unbeaten.
by Martin Collins Enterprises by Europe FIP International, is Boyd ExCel, Australia.
Well, Boyd, I'm pleased that the antlers weren't on before, because aerodynamically, I'm not sure they would have been quite quick. And it was pretty tight out there tonight, but I don't know how many times I've said this over the years and this weekend. Congratulations. You have won at the London International Horse Show.
Yeah, thanks very much. And what an electric crowd. I mean, the Saturday night is just fantastic.
Saturday Night Lights here in London. You're a huge supporter, as so many here are, of this show. What keeps you coming back?
The younger generation on my right side and left side.
Well, listen, it's wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much for entertaining us, to all of you. Congratulations, Boyd.
So Boyd ExCel, another win in London. He's going to have a bit of a break, and we'll be back in Leipzig, which is in mid-January, and then the final, when those top 6 place drivers from this year's series will be forward for the final, and Boyd will want to right the balance. Bram took it from him in Leipzig. That brilliant weekend where we had 4 of the FEI World Cups converging. It really was a bumper weekend, and after all the restrictions that started early in 2020, it was a delight to be back in the midst of such brilliant horse sport. Nick Collins there, whose company Martin Collins have provided the arena here, and so that is Nick on the back. And Bram, first time in London, the first of many, with these wonderful Lipizzaners, Leanne's sister on there. And representing the Chardon family, who have competed so many times for so many years here on British soil. And Coups de Ronde. Has done his campaign. No harm at all today. And the crowd will be getting behind the drivers as they gather speed. And as we always say, don't try this at home with your horses and carriages, even if you're driving a single pony. Oh, and Simon Brooks-Ward on there with Bram Chardon. So Simon hitching a ride as well. And Simon's family have been great supporters of driven competitions. They have done so much to keep Royal Windsor and all that we do in driving there. Not just the 3-day eventing, there's all sorts of driving at Royal Windsor, and of course the association with the late Duke of Edinburgh, who was a former president of the FEI, and Boyd will be one of the first to credit Prince Philip's input to building up this wonderful modern sport, this World Cup format, which started in 2001. Michael Freund was the very first champion, and he went on to be champion 5 times, but Boyd has smashed that. And here they go when they start gathering speed and really giving the crowd yet something else to get behind. Narrow margins when they do the donut, as we call it, round and round, a swirl like a whirlwind, a vortex, a pool. Yeah, the back steppers saying, hang on, those leaders are getting quite near to me. And now bombing out, whoa! Yeah, you see Bram's got a young horse there. Hasn't probably done this before. And look at those Santa Claus reindeer ears on these wonderful horses. Boyd will no doubt be crediting them with this fantastic win here in London. And the roof is being raised in the ExCel Arena. The lights are being dimmed and the atmosphere is absolutely electric. When this sport first started, those of us that have been driving for a long time couldn't believe what we're seeing, and now we are so delighted with how this has brought driving to a whole new crowd and to a whole new level. And the man who must be credited with really bringing it home is Boyd ExCel. Bram leaving the arena, Simon holding on to his hair on the back of the carriage. Tight circle at the top of the arena from Boyd. Bounce, bounce, and they are about to go. What an evening. What an evening. Thank you so much for tuning in to what has been a fantastic 6 leg here in London. Next up, Mechlin, just after Christmas. Join us then.
world are with us tonight. Thanks so much to the Kennel Club. Crufts, the world's greatest dog show that happens every March at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham, making a difference for dogs. That's what the Kennel Club does. And you can get all the magic of Crufts at the NEC in March. 28,000 dogs, 160,000 people, down to the Magnificent Seven. Who is it going to be best in show? Lee Mackenzie, who have you got? You've got some of the best in the world down there.
Yeah, if you thought the carriages were fast, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Sam, tell us about your dog.
Hi, this is Fern. She's a Border Collie. She's 5 years old. This is her 3rd year here. So she won this morning's heat, so let's see how she goes. She's a bit crazy. She's a cracking dog, though.
But she's looking very eager at the moment already. She knows what's to come.
Yeah, she's out there watching Shannon, so she's getting herself ready.
Okay, well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Best of luck to all 10. Thousands upon thousands of handlers have tried to qualify for the London International Horse Show. The Kennel Club is the greatest in the world. It is responsible for breed standards, for assured breeders, for dog health, canine health, with the agility, with the heel work to music, with the working trials, with the breeding, with the breed championships, general championship shows, issuing challenge certificates, and ensuring that all our pedigree dogs are the best in the world, setting the breed standards and making sure that the healthy, happy dogs. So what are our handlers doing? They're out there in the course, and where their arms are is left and right. That is where they want their dogs to be. And as I said right at the start of this, over 3,000 dogs have tried to qualify. We're now down to the final 10. They're the grade 7 dogs, they're the best in the world. And you can cheer them on, because you've got out there, you've got faultable elements with the wall or the uprights, or the tire or the long jump. You've also got the contact elements of the A-frame, the dog walk and the seesaw. And then you've got the tunnel in there. And if they get it wrong, there'll be twists and turns in here. And it's all about, just like we saw with the driving, it's all about control at speed. The man who is quite simply a magician in the world of judging, designing courses in the world of dog agility, is a man from Leicestershire.